It's amazing how much heavier the 35 is without the lower unit than the 25. Crazy, bro. Crazy, baby. Alright, let's get the 35 on the boat. So we can finish wrapping up the electrical system, which is basically just wiring the choke and setting the fuel lines. Yeah, electrical system. So I'm hooking up my fuel lines for the carburetor because I cannot figure out this choke knob. We're gonna have to check out this old outboard and see if we can find out what the story is. In the meantime, what I want to talk about real quick is that I'm hooking up these fuel lines is I got these metal clips that are standard with a lot of the older OMC motors, and I have zip ties now. Evinrude makes a part number for a zip tie that's got a rounded clamp so you can hook a fuel line to it. To this day, however many my outboard career, 5 years, 4 years doing this, I've never had a hose not leak with the metal clamp or the zip tie. I don't know if I'm using too big a hose, I don't know if I'm just an idiot or what. So what I did is I bought in bulk, I bought a whole package, the tiniest hose clamps you can buy, and I use them. I use them for everything. Hose, you'll see it here. You know, I cannot use a zip tie. I have not had a fuel fitting with a zip tie on it that did not leak. So now that I got my fuel line hooked up, we'll hook the carburetor up. Okay, y'all, here's what we came up with. It ain't pretty. So this isn't even like tucked away. I try to like do it nice. Okay, so I don't know if I think this choke knot, this lever's kind of bent because I have to force it, whatever. So it's tight, and what the problem is the manual choke does not go with this carb, so this lever is wrong. So what I had to do was get the spring to pull it away and up. So what happens is I can choke it, but nothing was springing it back, so I had to install a makeshift spring, and it does function. It's just very crude. So long story short is if you're gonna do some kind of work like this, so if you plan on doing any work like this, messing with carburetors and stuff, especially when it comes to periods, different years, you may have to fabricate a little bit. It's so close. The carburetor is identical. This top carburetor is identical. But I don't know if my choke knob's wrong or my connection piece is wrong. That's what it is. Because even though the carb is identical on the top, this piece was meant for an electric choke. So it doesn't have the spring lever that's correct for a manual pull choke. So what we'll do is we'll look on eBay. We'll see if we can find this piece and maybe a new choke knob because this lever is bent. But you can see the plate, and I gotta force it. I gotta pull straight, but it does choke, and I might have to hold. See how it opens up that little bit? That's fully choked. This is not. So I may have to pull the choke out real hard and then press the start button at the same time. But then when you push it in, I mean, so it does function. It's just very crude. But we got our carburetor on. We got our fuel line connected. Now we can rebolt our starter. Oh my God, we'll do a test run. I gotta go to work right now, but maybe tonight. We'll see. Stay tuned. Okay, the moment of truth. Oh man, I'm so excited. We got our fuel lines hooked up. Hooked up our starter. Wait, what did I do? I didn't hook up a ground. Ay, ay, ay. Okay, and before we fire her over, the only other thing I had to do was my ground wire to the pan fell off. I was pulling something and the wire came off. So I drilled a hole and I just quick installed a bolt, stainless steel bolt with a nut and a washer, and added a new ground wire to the block. Okay, so There is a ground to the pan. There might be a couple, but in this motor, there's definitely one main one. So just make sure that if something's wrong, you check that out. So we re-grounded the block to the pan, and coincidentally, that's the bolt that holds the fuel fitting in, which I didn't know that. And that nut is totally what rusted and rounded. So hopefully I don't have to change the fuel fitting anytime soon. But that's it. That's the quick go around of the motor. We just hooked up a main fuel line here. We weren't going to do the elbow, but the nipple to my carb was tiny, so I wanted a tiny hose, and the T-fitting here happens to have a smaller end on it. But no leaks, surprisingly, from this zip tie here. That's the first time I've ever used a zip tie that didn't leak. Now, there's supposed to be like a neutral stop here. I don't know where it is. I don't think it ever came with it. We could add it later. Probably a safety feature I might not need. I don't know. I am getting a report that this carb will not work with this motor. I'm 100% positive it'll idle. It's going to run and idle because the fuel passage is the same for that. It's that high speed that's going to be an issue. So we're going to do some testing on her and see what we get out of this carburetor at high speed, and then we'll looks like we're going to have to break the bank here and get a new carburetor on eBay, see if we can find something. There is one up right now. It's about 120 bucks. But it'll work, and it'll have the electric choke, so we'll be able to play with the setup I wanted to run. But we'll get to that's another story for another date. So the motor's getting ready to fire. We're gonna hook up some battery power, see what we got. Okay, now we're hooked up and wired for sound. Let's go. Okay, so this is gonna be the first start attempt. Now, obviously, the lower unit is not on yet, but we want to see if she fires. We have all of our leads hooked up. Fuel is primed into the carb. Kids are screaming. Tank is venting. Fuel primer bulb is pumped and firm. Power's hooked up. Needle's a turn and a half out. Choke is on. Let's see what we got. Throttle is nowhere. I have no idea. I don't even know what the start position will be. Gotta remember how to stop it, just in case it fires. Okay, she fired. Choke is open. She runs! She runs! She runs! It works. Matthew, Master Mechanic, gives it the old thumbs up. You heard him. Yay! Woohoo! We're all about the positivity here on the Blackout Build channel. But human, I get frustrated. Really frustrated. Try not to take it out on other people. But, you know, you got those people that just push the buttons. Push, 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 push. And you have to say something. I mean, there's a difference between negativity and standing up for yourself. In any case, so you guys are going to see the carburetor video. You're going to know, I really don't know much about carburetors. It is true. But when you go to a place to ask questions, whether you're trying to find information or learn some more, I mean, I don't know if I came off presumptuous like I knew everything about carburetors. I just asked the question. And if I was brand new to motors and asked the question, I wouldn't expect that kind of response out of an expert. So that's where the carburetor video comes in. But it runs. I mean, we knew it would run. It's a carburetor that is identical. And I'm not sure, again, if this carburetor is not necessarily going to work. Will I get the top speed I'm looking for? Will I get the top horsepower? Yet to be determined. But we're going to try it. And I will put the money out there to buy a new carb, and we will compare. We're going to figure it out. The main thing is we got to run it. We got to run it. That's cool. That's cool. This thing was destined for the dump. Destined for the dump. Kid found it in his basement, sitting for years. 50 bucks, happy to give it away as opposed to scrapping it or parting it out. We put a lot of new parts on it thanks to the donor motor. Another motor that was destined for the heat.
What?
I paid 80 bucks for that. This thing turns out working, we're going to be in business. So in any case, so we know it runs, we know it idles. Can't run it too long, obviously. And can't run it long at all. I don't have the lower unit on it. But I will tell you this, I'm not showing fuel leaks. It started up instantly. It idled what to me seemed to be pretty smoothly. I mean, this motor's first fire in 10 years plus. It could be 20 years for all I know. In any case, is that going to do it? Is that going to be the rapid fire? So now we got to get to work on a lower unit. The kit's in the mail. Friday. Today is, as I'm talking to you right now, Thursday. So hopefully my water kit comes in tomorrow. We'll put that together, get a video together, throw the lower unit on. And let's cook, baby. Let's cook. So, again, this is more for entertainment. It's not for how-to. I'm new with this. You guys are learning with me. That's why I like the comments at the bottom. Throw me comments. Bill, you're doing this wrong. You're doing that wrong. But be positive about it. It's a conversation. Positivity. Come on now. The negative stuff there's too much of it in the world. In any case, stay tuned. We're going to get this thing on the water. Thanks for tuning in, guys. Endure me as always. See you in the next one.